Late in September 2015, Todd Nickerson published an article on Salon called "I'm a Pedophile, Not a Monster." It was subtitled, "I'm attracted to children but unwilling to act on it. Before judging me harshly, would you be willing to listen?" Not so shockingly, whether or not people listened, they didn't refrain from the judging harshly part.
All right, so you can infer from the headline exactly what I inferred was, okay, this guy's a pedophile weirdo, belongs in jail or just not around anymore.
Check out Paul Joseph Watson's response.
If paedophiles truly want to give something back to society, it shouldn't be in the form of whiny opinion pieces published by major news outlets in the hope that we can support and understand them better. It should be in the form of a bullet to the head. That's the only action a paedophile can take that I will understand and support. Paedophiles, please stop wasting time trying to convince us all that you're a misunderstood minority. And please get busy killing yourselves.
Now tell me if that sounds like rationality to you, or more like someone who has abandoned critical thinking and is letting his emotions have a field day. On any other subject, we could all ignore someone who talks like this, rightly concluding this kind of savagery has no place in civilized discourse, and that such a person likely has no intellectual content to offer. But here we have an issue on which the savages are in the majority. Now, I am not just a savanna ape. I am a domesticated savanna ape. I pride myself on my meekness. I don't like revenge. I don't like suffering. It is my sensitivity to the suffering of others that is the source of my opposition to the prison system and to the sex offender registry. It took humanity a long time before people like me became common. Steven Pinker tells the tale of our cultural evolution while examining the causes behind it in one of my favorite books, Better Angels of Our Nature. While describing the cruelty that went into the countless crucifixions throughout the Roman world, he points out he wouldn't be able to put another human being through that even if he had a captive Hitler. Nor would I. Raise the subject of pedophilia, however, and you will quickly see that kind of unspeakable sadism still fills the hearts of most people. Though unequivocal in his hate, Watson's idea of what to do with pedophiles, a quick bullet to the head, still makes him less sadistic than most. Perhaps some of you can leave a comment as to what you would do with pedophiles or child molesters in order to help illustrate my point. Nickerson describes confessing sexual attraction to children as laying claim to the most reviled status on the planet. Even those of you who are part of that hate can't deny we are talking about one of the most hated minorities in the history of the world. The more entertaining part of Watson's video is when he tries to go all slippery slope on us.
So if we're to accept paedophilia as a, quote, sexual orientation, what else could be considered under that umbrella? Or necrophiliacs, people who like to have sex with dead bodies, merely expressing their sexual orientation.
He went on for a while with some other absurdities, but my point is, you can see there's almost nowhere left to go. There is no group more hated for their sexuality. On the plus side, the modern sexual liberation movement has only one group left to liberate. What was all this about not accepting pedophilia as a sexual orientation? What else would it be? I wouldn't have thought that would be something that could be argued against. Some people have this attraction. They didn't choose it. The only question is, how are we going to treat them? Tolerance? I vote for tolerance and understanding. That's how I usually vote. Some people tend to go for fear and hate. They're a little culturally under-evolved. I think the most important point Nickerson was trying to make is that we make some distinctions. Sometimes people don't realize that things like homosexuality, pedophilia, and child molestation are different things. For your entertainment, let's see what your grandparents thought about these issues.
That looks innocent enough, doesn't it? Lots of young people hitchhike. Seems like a good way to get from one place to another. But sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. So no matter where you meet a stranger, be careful if they are too friendly. One never knows when the homosexual is about. Let's take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon, and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride. He'd done it 100 times before, and he didn't think anything was unusual when the driver struck up a friendly conversation. In fact, he seemed like a real nice guy. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex. So no matter where you meet a stranger, be careful if they are too friendly, if they try to win your confidence too quickly, and if they become overly personal. One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal.
Oh, how the zeitgeist doth shift. A slightly more enlightened individual might claim, this is a pedophile, not a homosexual, thus de-demonizing homosexuality. A step better would be a person like me saying, no, a pedophile is attracted to the prepubescent. What we're seeing here is traditional and not unhealthy. Raising our consciousness still further, a person like Todd Nickerson comes along. Even the pedophile is not the boogeyman you're looking for. You're thinking of child molesters. He points out pedophiles and child molesters are very different things. Being one does not imply being the other. The man suffers clearly from a sexual orientation he wishes he didn't have. He's no radical. Unlike me, he doesn't even want the age of consent lowered. He writes in his blog, I am no longer in favor of lowering the age of consent at all, and it isn't like it's ever going to affect my life anyway. If age of consent laws were dropped tomorrow, I would still think it was wrong for adults to have sex with prepubescent children, which is the heart of my orientation, and I would resist it. This raises a fun philosophical question. For those of you who are in the majority, who is worse? Someone who is attracted to the prepubescent but never wants such an attraction acted upon, or someone who thinks sexuality with teenagers is normal and should be decriminalized?